We're now ready to mount all the H.E. Anderson injectors onto our strut here. So we've put strut nuts into the strut already. We're going to loosely mount all of the brackets to it and then finally assemble all the pumpers. So let's get started. So first step is to take the mounting brackets that come with your kit and mount them onto the strut. Refer to the diagrams again for the actual distance for this strut. And you'll just need some bolts with washers on them to mount these onto your unistrut. Loose mount them for now, just so that they're cinched up and able to move around a little bit, because we're going to maneuver them into place once we get the next part up on the wall. All right, we've got all the brackets on. Now we're going to put the pilot valve manifold up here and get it mounted. So the first piece will have the pressure regulator and gauge on it. So there's screws that go into the bottom of these. They'll go through the bracket and into the brass housing here. You want to make sure to mount this part on the right-hand side of the manifold because it'll be pre-assembled for this. Your air regulator and air inlet, compressed air, will go on this side. And this is where it's handy to have the brackets loosely fitted on there so you can move them and adjust them around. Now we're mounting the second part of the air manifold. You'll see that there is a union pre-mounted on here. You want to make sure that that part is cinched up first. You make sure that you have a solid connection between these two pieces of the manifold right away. And then finally, we'll cinch up and tighten all of the mounting bracket bolts.
We got the pilot valve manifold assembly installed on the mounting brackets, and the mounting brackets snugged up. Next, we're going to install the pumper heads on top of the pilot valves. We want to refer to our instructions on this. There is an injector order on this that you want to reference, and their injectors are labeled. So make sure we're following the order from left to right, position 1 through 7 here, as shown on the instructions. First one's going to be a
in this design, this is a P1.
P1, and then we're going to want to put a gasket down on top of the pilot valve assembly.
Each pumper will come with a little bag that includes this gasket and 2 screws to mount it onto the pilot valve like so. Okay, you should be good.
Perfect.
And you notice I'm holding this pumper in place. They are top heavy and they want to go backwards. So it's nice to have a hand just holding it under there until you get the screws in there. You don't need to crank them down with any sort of power tools. If they're not cinched down enough, they will leak air when they're injecting. So make sure you give them a good turn. Item to note about H.E. Anderson pumpers, these dials can flip up in shipping and they'll disengage from the teeth on this knob here. Make sure that you press all of them down and make sure that the dial setting is still set at 10. Try not to move this knob around either. They're calibrated at the factory and you want to keep that calibration.
Our last pumper head in this assembly is going to be the A3. This is slightly different. The rest of these injectors are using a Phillips head screw. These are going to be using 2 long flat head screws for the A3 pump.
Got it.
Got her.
Nice.
Okay, now that we have all the pumpers on, we're going to go ahead and put in the mufflers on the bottom of the pilot valve assembly.
We're done mounting all of our injectors now, and the last part is to put in the suction and injection foot valves onto the pumps themselves. There's 2 different styles. We're going to do the first ones that are for the P1, P2, and A3 pumps, and we'll do the H4s next. A couple of things to note about these ones is there's protective tape on them because there are small ceramic check valves inside of it. And if these go missing, the pumps don't work properly, so make sure to keep that in there and thread it up into the back of the pumper. You'll notice there are yellow arrows printed onto the check valve. Make sure that this one is pointing up into the injector, and then the next one will thread up and it'll be pointing out of the injector. So we're going to start by threading the suction check valve into the back. Make sure you don't cross thread it. No tape is necessary on this because it is gasketed, and just hand tight is fine. Next we'll do the injection fitting. Same as before, just take the tape off and thread it into the top of the injector. Next we're going to install the H4 injection fittings. These are a little bit different style, as you can see, much bulkier because these are for high capacity pumps. So you'll take off the tape that comes on the unit, and there's 2 long flathead screws in there, as well as an O-ring. Make sure that O-ring stays in place. Remove these screws, and we're going to place it on the back of the pump here. Place the flathead screws through the side that has the yellow arrow on it, and mount that on the back of the pumper here into the corresponding holes. Again, no power tools on this, only hand tools.
Our next step will be installing the IPFs into the upper manifold. You'll notice we have 2 different IPFs, a larger one here for the H4s and a smaller for the P1s, P2s, and A3s. Reference your chart. Again, obviously the H4s are your larger 2 here, which is a position 2 and 3, which will get the larger IPF. We're going to hand tighten these into the upper manifold. We have already gone ahead and pre-taped these with 4 to 5 wraps of Teflon tape, and we're going to go in nice and snug, hand tight, no tools needed on this.
Be careful of cross-threading. Make sure that they go in easily.
That concludes the IPF installation and the manifold. Pumpers are installed. The next things we're going to do is mount the Connect controller that will be managing all of the pumps and the meters. And then Carrick will take you through wiring and tubing after that.